So welcome, Sister Madhavi. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Brother Saurabh.
Yeah. So we're really fortunate we have Sister Madhavi with us today. Sister Madhavi took the spiritual path in mid-90s when she was at a very young age back in India. She holds an MBA in finance and human resource, and she is very well versed with a lot of spiritual knowledge as well as its application in a practical world. She does a lot of seminars apart from managing the center activities in Queens, New York. She does a lot of retreats at Peace Village. She especially does programs in corporates. There is a very famous corporate called Perialis in New York, and she's been conducting meditation seminars there for many, many years now. And she also does a lot of sessions, especially for young professionals and young adults. And she's been instrumental to lead a lot of Brahma Kumaris initiatives. And she's very close to the divine, and she spreads that radiance, that fragrance through her sweet and nurturing qualities. So we are today eagerly waiting to listen to Sister Madhavi how to bend, how to mold the self in that balance so that we don't break, and we break all the old karmic accounts, but then how to connect to the divine. So she'll also share her personal experiences, her journey with us. So let us all just say welcome together. Welcome, Madhavi Ben.
Thank you, and also Indiana family. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome, sister. Welcome,
Sister Madhavi.
Thank you. Lovely to be with all of you this morning. And I'm sure since morning you must be having a few sessions going on, right? How about we actually start this session with a few moments of meditation? I know we just meditated, but just a few moments of reflection, I would say. Yeah?
Sure.
So I would request everyone to settle down, and if you're doing anything, please pause for a few minutes so that we can be together. So for a few moments, allow yourself to become internally quiet. Let there be no fluctuation of thoughts. Allow yourself gently to slow down. Slow down. No thoughts of any business, any task, what's next, nothing. Just become very much present in this moment. and touch the silence within the being, the soul. Step into your inner silence, inner calmness. And in this silence, your thoughts are becoming lesser and fewer. It's as if all the thoughts are merging into one point. One point. There is no rush in my mind. No chaos at all. Experiencing deep peace, deep silence. This silence has power. This silence has stability. I am absolutely stable, a silent point of light. Now, in this stability and awareness, I continue to listen. Thank you. So, today's session is on the ability to bend without breaking. And so, just now, this silence we held inside ourselves is one of the powerful bases to experience a stage of bending without breaking. We normally don't give much time to silence or to pause for a few moments. because we have overused this word peace, but overusing this word peace, still we don't get it. How powerful is the experience of the peace or silence is. It's absolutely powerful when we actually experience that inner silence, and in that inner silence, all our thoughts are actually becoming a point. Because throughout the day, we think so much. We are always wearing the hat of thinking. Every moment we are thinking. So in this thinking mode, how many thousands of thoughts we are creating. So the more we are creating, the less power we are experiencing internally. But we still don't realize. We think it's okay. We have business, we have things, we have tasks. We think we have to think. Okay, it's fine to think. But what about silence? We all actually crave and ask for that peace of mind, right? We don't say, I want too much thinking. When someone asks, what do you want? And if we think about peace, we say, I want peace of mind. We don't say, I want too much of thinking. No, nobody asks for that. So when we know the value of peace, when we know what it feels like to have peace of mind, why aren't we giving that time? So it becomes very, very absolutely essential during the day to give a few moments to ourselves, to pause and allow to go within, to experience the power of silence that we all have. And you all must have learned that the religion of the soul is peace, or the nature of the soul is peace. But in a practical way, how much do we actually experience this peace? How much do we experience? Very little, right? So to create or to actually experience that ability to bend without breaking is the power of silence. I need to create, I need to build on this silence a lot. Because just think, when you are too much in thinking, when you're busy, when you're in thinking mode, can you create decisions? Can you make decisions? Sometimes you're worried about something, but in worry, you cannot actually make a decision. When you're angry about something, you cannot make a decision, but those decisions can be destructive. Sometimes we say, I'm not able to think properly, right? Why? Because there are too many thoughts going on. And so I need to actually realize this power of silence. Silencing the mind is very, very important. Even now, are you, as you're listening to this, are you silencing your mind? Silence it as you're listening. Can I do that? Can I listen at the same time, be silent inside? Yes, I think so. Very much. I remember in one of the corporates, I was talking about this power of silence, and I said, take those moments of silence. And one of the ladies said, throughout the day, I have so many conference calls. How can I be silent? But the power of silence is not about silencing the mouth. It's not about silencing the mouth. It's silencing the mind. And I can still do that even if I have conference calls. It's a state of being that I hold, that I carry within myself. How internally the soul is actually experiencing, feeling. It's an experience that I have. So even whilst having my conference calls, I can experience that silence. So this is what I feel, that, that integration of spirituality or silence or whatever wonderful things that we talk, how much we are practicing. Even recently, I was actually talking to someone, and when I spoke about soul to her, she said, I heard these things. But this is what many times we think, that we hear about silence, we hear about soul, we hear about being good, being positive, all of these things. But how much do we actually practice them? How much do we actually inculcate, bring them into my practice? And so in today's lesson, today's session, as we are listening, can we jot down a few thoughts together, a few points together, and see how can I actually make it more practical? So it's all about this practice. So when I say I know meaning it's actually an experience. So I can say from headspace, I know about silence. But then even 1 minute of silence, I cannot sit. Now you check yourself. How long can you actually allow your thoughts, your mind to actually float in a single thought? Mind cannot be thoughtless, right? It cannot be thoughtless. But mind has the power to hold on to one thought and to float with that thought. So check your power of silence. Check the power of the mind that I have. Even like when we say that we meditate, but we sit for meditation, and how long can we concentrate? Check yourself. 30 seconds. Right after 30 seconds, the mind starts to wander. But this is where I have to build my power of silence. Because the more I build the power of silence, it's actually creating an inner stability, a power inside. A silent mind is not passive. It's very, very powerful. We have this beautiful person, soul, who actually left the body recently, Dadi Gulzar. And I can really say she's an embodiment of silence. Excuse me. She has accumulated a lot of silence. And when she speaks in that silence, her words are like weapons, meaning the weapons which will heal. So her words, only few words she would speak, but there is power in those words. So before even I go into this topic, this is what we have to do, this is what I have to do. No, I think the first thing is silence. Right? So each time increase the power of silence, even when you sit for meditation, your power of mind. Increasing the power of silence means increasing the power of mind. So a peaceful, as you can see, a peaceful mind generates power, because a peaceful mind is able to analyze things in a better way. A peaceful mind is able to understand things in a better way. Right? And so what is this bending? When I have power, I have the ability to actually bend. So one of the beautiful examples of bending without breaking is this bamboo tree. I was just completely fascinated actually when I was learning about this bamboo tree, how it is, bamboo tree can actually grow to 90 feet tall, 90 feet tall. And it still has the power to actually, sway to the winds and storms. It has the power to be flexible. So because it is flexible, it is able to actually bend to the winds. But we can say, yes, I can be flexible, but internally, what do I need for externally to be flexible? See, for every practice, there is a groundwork I need to do. And if I miss that groundwork, then I am unable to actually practice. And the groundwork is the basis for externally for me to be flexible is internally to be stable. If internally I did not actually work on myself to become stable internally, then externally I cannot be flexible. So we all have twists and turns. We all have actually test papers in our life, right? Anybody, it could be somebody who is in spirituality, somebody who is not in spirituality, anyone who is on this earth, we all have test papers. We all have situations and circumstances to face. And so I cannot say that I'm practicing spirituality and I should not have any test papers. Actually, when I'm practicing spirituality, I become more aware that I am experiencing test papers. Sometimes we may feel all these test papers are part of our life. Yes, they are part of our life. But if I constantly fail in these test papers, then I may lose interest in life. Right? So spirituality gives me that power to actually face them and finish them. It gives me the power to be flexible and to bend and not break and feel disappointed with life. And so how is that I become, grounded inside is doing it again and again. So spirituality is not wearing a particular dress or, not just having a particular discipline. Spirituality is a deep practice. What I listen, I practice, and that's spirituality. Spirituality is a way of living my lifestyle. Spirituality means transformation in life. Spirituality is not just a title. It's a way of living life. And so the way to become stable is this internal groundwork that I need to keep doing every single day again and again. So let me share a story with you. The story about, this guy who plants, this bamboo. And so he has this, he's, does his sapling for the bamboo trees to grow. And so he keeps waiting for this bamboo to grow. And so it's almost 6 months and he doesn't see anything. So at one point he starts to get disappointed. Shall I do it or not? Or shall I just switch to another business? Is this going to grow or not? But somehow something internally tells him, have patience, keep doing it. And so that's what he follows his instincts. And he keeps watering every single day. And as he keeps watering every single day, after 6 months or so, slowly he will see these sprouts. The plant starts to grow, but very, very tiny. Now, when he sees the tiny plant emerging, he feels very, very happy. And, he feels absolutely happy. But on the other hand, he feels that, oh gosh, I waited for so long time for this to grow. Now, for how long time I have to actually wait for these bamboo trees to shoot up. And so, but patience allows him to continue to sustain that plant. And within no time, it took actually for him long time for the sprout to emerge. But then within no time, the tree actually, that little plant shoots up to 90 feet tall. And he becomes all surprised. How did this happen? He runs to his mentor and he explains to him, look, this is what happened. And so his mentor actually says that it is all because of your nature of not giving up, your nature of patience, allowed, for these trees to actually grow. And so sometimes, things happen in our life. Sometimes we don't see immediate results and we think, why not? And we become impatient about it. This should happen, quickly. But then everything has its own time, right? But whatever I need to keep doing, I need to not stop. I need to keep doing that. So sometimes spiritually also we want to see certain results. Sometimes, say, for example, we are working on our anger or on our behavior. I want to change from internally. We all feel that, right? I want a transformation from inside. I want to be a better person. So we keep working on certain things. But when we don't see the change, or we may see the change, but after 6 months, again, from somewhere the anger came out. We think, oh my gosh, where was this anger sitting? Right? And then we start to feel disappointed. No, I did so much meditation, I worked on it. I don't know where this was sitting. Why isn't this, nature changing inside me? Sometimes we get disappointed, but no, that's where I have to say, this is another test paper. This is another step for me to see that I still have it inside and I need to keep working on it. So the conclusion of this point is, don't give up, keep doing it internally, because when I do, what's happening is internally I'm creating strong roots, and that's what happened. So the mentor actually told him, all these years you were actually watering these plants. Externally, they were not showing up, but internally, the roots were growing. So internally, they are becoming so stable because so that they can adopt uh, the nature of flexibility. As they grow so tall, they can still withstand all the winds and storms. So many times in spirituality or in our life, when we want to transform something, we give up very easily. Oh, I did for 2 years, it's nice, but this meditation is not doing anything for me. We can have that sort of attitude. But internal transformation is very, very deep. It's not about doing for 1 year, 2 years. It's a lifelong learning. It's a lifelong transformation, which I need to keep doing again and again. So I need to be that bamboo tree internally, creating that strong roots so that externally I'm able to face things. I'm able to actually bend when situations come, but I'm not breaking because I have the power of silence, the power of flexibility, the power of being grounded inside. So keep doing. So now the slide is, yes, the bamboo sways in rough winds and storms, demonstrating its humility. Excuse me. So one of the virtue that we learned is, yes, to have that stability, being grounded and being flexible externally. And so when I'm flexible, it's demonstrating my humility. And so having humility externally, meaning that I'm actually focused on one. that beautiful thought practice of focus and flow. When I focus on one thing, I know how to flow in life. When I focus on one thing, I accumulate power. When I focus on 1,000 things, there is no power. Sometimes they say when you're doing something also, when you actually focus on that, today, yes, people talk about multitasking, which is okay. But then it's not the same power. We're checking our phone and eating food. How many of you do that? Checking your phone, or you're watching something and you're eating and you're doing something, you're listening to this Zoom call. Now, how many of you are listening to this Zoom call and you're cooking or you're cleaning your home or you're doing something else? So we think, let's do multitasking, but it's not the same power. Seriously, it's not the same power. When I focus on one thing, there is power in it. I accumulate power. Anything. Let me give you a very ordinary example of, of say if something is happening in your body, right? Let me even just take the example of cough, because I'm coughing. Maybe I should not give this. Maybe I'll cough more. Anyway, if there is any pain even in your body, physical body, the moment you focus on that pain, you will start to experience that. Right? Yeah. Say, for example, a good moment, you have a very beautiful memory in your life. And the moment you actually think about that memory, you'll start to smile because you'll have an experience. So wherever there is focus, there is an experience in it. So throughout the day, where is my focus? I have to check. Throughout the day, where is my focus? Is my focus on people? Is my focus on things? Is my focus on situations? Is my focus on the past? Where is my focus? Or my focus is on beautiful things of life. My focus is on God. My focus is on, virtues, certain virtues like happiness, like courage. My focus is on, say, knowledge. So where is my focus? And so wherever is my focus, that grows, and that's the experience I have. Right? And how is this connected to humility? Because where there is that focus, there is power to flow. I'm able to flow without rigidness. Sometimes we become too headstrong. No, this has to be this way. This is this way. And so that headstrong nature is when I am actually thinking, speaking everything from headspace. I have the knowledge. I'm practicing spirituality. I know what is being peaceful. I know what is silence. I know what is being happy. But everything is headspace. And when it is headspace, I'm rigid. Then I would think about, this has to be this way. This has to be perfect this way. Then I don't have any humility, allowing others to grow. I don't have humility for time to play, to flow. I don't have humility for the things that are going on in my life to accept the way they are. I'm always battling. This shouldn't be this way. This one shouldn't be that way. But when there is focus, there is a flow to life. I'm able to flow. And I don't mean that I'm flowing passively. Okay, this is what life is taking me. Let me just flow. No, not saying that. But there is a certain amount of humility inside me to accept and work on it and not fight against it. And so time, no? Many times we think, why this situation? Why me? Those sorts of thoughts come very strongly inside me. But when there is humility, instead of actually pushing and crying towards it, I am accepting it, and then I'm working, how to move on in life in those situations. So humility is another powerful virtue that I need to have to sway to the winds and storms of life. Another important practice to have to bend without breaking is to have a decluttered mind. This is one of the beautiful things I love about bamboo tree is, having the hollowness inside. You see how bamboo tree is, right? If you see, look at the bamboo stem, it's hollow inside. And because it's hollow, it has the flexibility. It's very strong. It doesn't just break. So this example is really teaching us to declutter our minds. How much of clutter do we have in our mind? Whatever clutter I keep in my mind, that's the experience I'm having always. So decluttering is absolutely essential. And this is where meditation actually helps us to declutter. Why? What am I doing in meditation? Do you all know how to meditate? Or do you just sit and think I am meditating? No, this is a valid question what I asked. You may all think, yeah, sister, I know to meditate, which is wonderful. Which is wonderful. But I really need to ask myself, what do I do in meditation when I sit? Do I just sit in meditation, closing my eyes and yes, I am peaceful? Or as soon as I sit in meditation, my mind is still wandering and it takes for me like a long time to even really stabilize? So I asked somebody, oh brother, I'm not seeing you these days, for meditation, for the evening sessions. He said, sister, these days you're conducting meditation in the evening and I can't concentrate, so I'm not coming. I said, you're not coming because you can't concentrate. But if you don't have the practice, how will you learn to concentrate anyway? So we are so comfortable listening. We're so happy to listen. But the moment there is meditation, everyone disappears. Huh? Do you do that too? As soon as let's take a few moments of meditation and then everyone starts to disappear. I don't have time for meditation. I listened enough. We think listening is, I'm done. I did my spiritual job listening. No, I'm missing the point. I listen, but if I'm not applying it, and especially in my meditation, what's the point? So I need to learn. If I don't know how to meditate, please learn. Ask. Ask, how can I meditate? What are the thoughts I need to actually hold in my meditation? Learn how to reflect, how to meditate. It's very important. What sort of thoughts I should have? Meditation is not just sitting in a posture like this picture here, right? Not just sitting like that. Half an hour I just sat, my body sat, but did my mind sit? So in meditation or in reflection, how am I decluttering my mind? I'm actually using the power of withdrawing. The first thing when you sit for meditation is you're withdrawing your thoughts from everything and you're bringing, even from your body, and all the extensions of the body. You're taking all your thoughts to one point. And so in that practice, what is happening is you're condensing all your thoughts, all these waste thoughts, ordinary thoughts, or negative thoughts, whatever thoughts you had about your work, about your children, about your family, about the past, and this and that. I'm actually putting all those thoughts aside, and I'm condensing my thoughts to just one point. So in the initial stages of meditation, I'm actually thinking less. My thoughts are becoming very few, and those thoughts are actually going into stillness. So the less are the thoughts, the more is the power, and the more is the power that those thoughts which are powerful have success. Right? Less thoughts, more power, and more success. And the bigger creation of our thoughts is less power that I have. When I think more, definitely I have less power. Right? So I'll pause here and I'll check in with all of you. How are you all doing? Are you getting something out of this? Any thoughts that you have? Any questions that you want to ask me at this point? Or are we all good? Should I continue? Good? Everyone is doing fine? Good?
Yes, sister.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes, sister. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Good. Let's continue. Good. So that's where our practice of meditation is, which is helping us to have less thoughts, which means more power in my thoughts, and more is the success. And everything is through thought power, remember? Everything is thought power. Whatever I'm thinking is happening out there. So if I'm giving more thoughts, more power to my negative thoughts, and that's what starts to happen, or waste, that's what starts to happen. But less thoughts, more powerful, and focus. When you focus on one, there is power. That means there is success. Okay, our next slide. Another example of bending without breaking is, the beautiful example is water. And I love this example. Of course, I love bamboo also. But all this nature actually teaches us so much, right? In life, nature teaches us so much. And, as we know, one of the things about focus and flow is also water is the beautiful example. Water actually flows. It has a certain focus. You see, when you build a canal, what happens? The water actually flows along the canal, right? And when it focuses, it has a certain flow. And when water flows, what does it do to tough rocks? It softens the rocks, right? It heals the rocks. So though water has the nature of the water is to flow, is to be very soft, yielding, but at the same time it can actually shape these tough rocks. So I need to inculcate that nature of water to be soft. And sometimes we think, no, sister, if we are soft, people take advantage of us, right? Those are the thoughts we have. If we are too soft, people take advantage of us. We can't be soft. Sometimes we have to be too tough or rough or rude. Not rude, we don't say rude, but we sometimes say a little bit of anger is good. But no, sometimes it's like, I have humility, I have flexibility, I have this softness. Nature, my karma will always give a good return. Sometimes we find we end up being with people in our life, one is soft, and sometimes my siblings or my partner um, is a bit, tough. And sometimes we think, why is that I'm with this person? I'm so soft. I'm so quiet and I'm so humble. And why is that I'm with this tough person in my life? Why did I ended up in this relationship? Sometimes we feel like that, right? But there is always a reason. Nature always, time and drama. I am in certain situation and I'm with certain people. It's always, to learn something or to give something. That's the law of nature. Mm. Always, if I'm soft and there is somebody very tough, somewhere the soft water is actually making their roughness to soften as well. So I should not underestimate. Sometimes we feel, why am with these people? Right? We always feel like that. Or why am, in this situation? But drama, as it is said, God says drama is perfect. I am with certain people for a reason, though I believe it or not. you know, Sometimes my softness may be making the other ones, I'm rubbing that softness to others. That person is also becoming soft. Or sometimes there is something I need to learn also. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm, too, uh, you know, sometimes I'm too timid, maybe, And in those situations, I'm learning to cope, to handle someone who is tough. So every time I'm handling someone who is tough and rough, I'm actually becoming stronger inside. So don't ever underestimate. If you are humble, if you have tolerance, if you are soft inside, you are absolutely powerful, because you know the nag, you know the tact to handle a rough person or a situation in your life. So don't say that, yeah, no, I can't be tolerant, tolerance is too much, or I'm like a doormat and this. No, there is something in the drama that I am in this particular situation and people. There is something that I'm executing and I'm becoming powerful each day. And I think we all must have experienced this in our life, right? Another ingredient that we all need in life, love, which helps me to bend but not break. Love is power. And we all know, we all talk about love, love. Oh, how wonderful love is. But do we realize it's easy to love someone who loves us, right? But to share love, someone who is not nice to us, that's where we feel, how can I bend in front of this person who is so arrogant? Then we also try and be rigid, and that which is rigid will break. So love actually softens the tough nature inside us. So, but what is love? Love is not just spending time with someone, sitting and chatting with them and saying that, okay, let us go to a movie and let us have lunch and let us, all that. What is love? Love is not just talking, hours to someone. Love is not just, being concerned about them. Love is very powerful. So, what is this love? Love is learning to understand each other. there may be differences in all of us. We are like about 25 or so on this group right now. Are we all the same? Do we all think alike? Do we all speak alike? Do we all do alike? No.
No,
We all are so different.
different, yes.
We all are so different. And so love is learning to understand the differences. And so because we all, love actually binds us, though we are all different, it binds us. So sometimes, we like to spend some time with somebody, but when it comes to differences, we don't want to understand them, right? We don't want to forgive them. Love is forgiving because we are all not the same. We all do our own things. We all are different. So love is compromising. Love is learning to grow with another person. Love is not just judging and saying you have to be this way. Or, I love to spend time with you, but I can't adjust with you. That's not love. So love is bringing that little gap which is in between all of us, patching those gaps together. It's like, putting the missing pieces together is love. And so when I have this ingredient of love in life, then I'm able to actually bend in relationships. Now, bend doesn't mean that, I'm putting myself down. So bending also means that I'm actually creating harmony. As we learn in spirituality, harmony, and many of you must have already learned this. The Hindi word, if we split these two words, harmony is harmony. So love is not I am right always. Love is bending, meaning harmony. Sometimes it's okay, okay, I lose and you win. But losing is not losing. Losing is also winning at the same time. So harmony, bringing harmony is like win-win situation. So sometimes we say this one is not right, but am I also checking myself? How much am I right? How am I behaving? It's not always about others. No, sometimes honestly I have to look into myself too. If there is a situation, how did I contribute towards the situation? As they say that, when you actually clap, right? You need two hands to clap together. It's not one. And so two together. So sometimes when we say this one made a mistake, then what did I do? How much was I right? So I need to check myself too. And so sometimes I have to bend my strong wills, my rigidness, my opinions. And if I don't do that, then somewhere it doesn't work, right? There is never harmony. Then we are always in this blame game. You did, you did, you did, you did. Sometimes I have to mold myself, my sanskars or my nature I need to mold so that I can create that harmony. But how can I mold my strong sanskars? Sometimes we have such strong sanskars. I want to mold. I want to be nice towards someone, but I'm unable to. So molding is also not that easy. We all have deep sanskars inside us. And so it's not easy to bend because internally this ego doesn't allow us to bend. And so what we need for these sanskars, our nature to bend, is the fire of yoga. Can everyone mute yourself, please? There's some noise. Thank you. And so it's this fire of yoga is absolutely essential. Without yoga, without this meditation practice, not even, let me actually remove that word meditation and let's go to this word yoga. Yoga is more like, more concentrated. This connection with God, with the self and God, connecting to myself and connecting to God. If I'm missing this in life, I cannot actually mold. I cannot bend. This rigid ego that sits will not allow me to bend. So if, anything, when you want to mold or when you want to bend something, what do? You put it in the fire, right? Fire makes everything bend and shape. So fire of yoga, that is remembrance. All of this, what you heard, without this practice, nothing is going to work. We heard about stability, we heard about flexibility, we heard about love, we heard about decluttering. All of this happens only when I have that intense meditation, that intense yoga. So sometimes we sit in meditation and, we think 15 minutes, okay, I sat half an hour and nothing happened. So whenever you're sitting in yoga, in your meditation, connecting to yourself and God, go deep, because when you go deep into that fire, because God is called purifier, right? Pure fire. Connect to that pure fire. And when you throw yourself into that fire, your nature and sanskars that are very hardcore inside will start to melt. Sometimes we say, how can I change myself? Or how can I bend when the situation is so tough? This is what helps. I, the soul, I need to connect myself with that purifier. When I connect to that pure fire, there is transformation. I start to melt inside. My sanskars, my nature will start to melt. Just like how alloy starts to melt from the gold. And gold becomes so flexible, right? Gold can mold into itself into any shape. One of the wonderful things about this metal gold is that whatever alloy is in the gold melts, but gold doesn't melt. But gold has that ability to mold itself. So when I have this practice of fire of yoga every single day, my sanskars actually mold. I become gold. The more I bend myself, the more I'm actually becoming gold. But the more I'm staying rigid and tough and arrogant inside, the more I'm like iron. You can't bend it unless you throw into the fire of yoga. So the most important thing about this whole session is about put yourself in that fire of yoga. Purify yourself internally. Put your tough natures and sanskars, give it to God. And that's when I'm able to actually bend. So yes, one of the things is that everything has a balance, right? And so when I have spirituality and spiritual practices in my life, I know that balance, that point of balance, how much to bend. Now, if you ask me, yes, sister, we can bend, but sometimes, it's not good to bend too much. Yes, but spirituality creates that sense inside me to bend and have that balance, to know that point, how much to actually bend but not break. But bending is absolutely essential to become that gold. Om Shanti.